about our game that we have going on for the next 6 weeks. How many of you are already involved in this week's or this 6 week game? Okay, a couple of you, and a couple of you maybe have decided not to. Okay, so this call will be a lot about that 6 week game, and a couple of us that are involved in it already, I'm going to give you some tips on how to have the people that you have in there invite for you and get some more new people to you involved in the game. And then for those of you who are not doing it this time, I would just like to see if this maybe afterwards, maybe there'll be something that will make you want to do it, or plugging your people in with within a room on our team. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. Just 1 second. Okay, so when someone goes into the game, there's quite a few things that I like to use this game for. Sometimes people will say, well, can you just write me a nutrition program because I don't want to buy your food yet, or they just have a misconception about it. This is one of the things that I will tell them that they get in with having their game. So I just hadn't weighed in yet so that I could show someone how to do that. And if you haven't played the game yet, all of these steps are step by step right through. But there's a few things on here that I think are really, really good. And one of them is this little guy, the 100-calorie fueling breaks. Most of us as health coaches have seen this, and this is a really great little resource that is, if somebody wanted to have something that was not one of our meal replacements, what would be some of the options? This little thing is a very valuable resource and is oftentimes a good way to open up having a conversation with someone and just saying, oh, I have this resource. Would you like me to email it to you? So that's a really good thing that's on here. Let me figure out how to get out of here. Well, right there. The other thing that I like to make sure that people are aware of what they're getting with this is all of the shopping lists and the menus that are on here, recipes and meal plans. So a lot of times people are wanting to start cooking healthier this time of year. A lot of them are doing lots and lots of different programs, and I like to tell people that it's okay. It doesn't matter what program that they're going to be using. They can still play this game with us and be learning what it is that we teach on the big picture as health coaching. But on here is some top lean and green recipes. These are all approved for the lean and green. So that kind of also gives people an idea of what types of food we can have while they're playing this game or while they're on 5 and 1. And you can click around in here anywhere you want, and it's going to give you a delicious recipe with all of the breakdown on it. So one of the things that I'll do during the game is I will invite people to come over to my home, and we will choose one of these recipes, and I'll make it for lunch, and we'll do a lean and green at lunchtime. And so if you have people that are on your team that are local to you, that is something really easy that you can do to kind of promote that team spirit and that camaraderie. The other thing that I like to do is when someone joins the team, I'll actually thank them, like on the public wall, and then sometimes even on their Facebook page, like, thank you for joining the team. I'm looking forward to getting healthy with you this next 6 weeks. What that'll do is it'll create a sense of interest for other people. Oh, what's that about? And in the comments there, you can put that little short video that we have about the game. So what is the theory behind this game? Really is just to share people what we do as health coaches in a fun and playful manner. So when Meltdown Challenge first started, they were not affiliated with Take Shape for Life. They just created this really cool platform, did some really great research, and found out that people like to play this game this way to getting healthy, small little step-by-step daily actions, which is of course what we're all about in Take Shape for Life. So in here there's also again, like I had mentioned, that shopping list. So you can click on this, literally just print out that list, and everything that you need is right there. So that's another really handy resource. Oops, I don't know how to get back. Excuse me 1 second. That's not where I wanted to go. But one of the things that I like to say to people is, so a lot of people had noticed that I was doing a one picture every single month in my swimsuit, and I was crediting it to playing this health game, and getting away from that diet mentality, but really, how do I make these habits stick for me for the rest of my life? And I think it's interesting. Monday night we had a webinar about the game and some of the new things that they've added to it, and it actually takes some people trying the game over again a second time or even a third time before they can really get it, because the way that it's designed is they're contacting the left brain and the right brain, and that's how we're making these new habits, by putting that learning and that action in together. So sometimes it can take a little bit of practice when we're learning something new, and playing this game is literally making ourselves check in daily, and whether it be on your phone. I don't know how many of you guys know that there's an app that you can get on your phone, so you're literally playing the game from your phone, or you're checking in like I just showed you on your home computer. But as far as it goes with our clients and our coaches, it's another one of the layers of support. So this can be a good layer of support for people who really don't know what Take Shape for Life is about yet. And there's a good story of a lady who played the game about a year ago, was never a client. She lost her weight by following the Habits of Health principles from inside the game, and came back later on and brought 6 people with her I'm sorry, I think it was 10 people with her to join the game. 6 of those friends ended up becoming clients. So you never know who the person is that's going to be coming to the game that might bring you and open you up into a whole new area. So with that being said, with your clients that are in the game, or maybe you're in the game and you don't have any friends or clients in there with you, the reason why the game is successful is because we're creating a sense of community. And a lot of people are missing that in their lives these days, and that's what they love about Take Shape for Life too, is we're giving them a sense of community. And so what better way to enlarge that sense of community than by having another layer to that, you got to make time, 10, 15 minutes time for yourself each day in order to get on there and play that game. So with the people that you have already in there, asking them, is there anybody from work that you can think of that would want to join us? Is there anybody at home that would want to play this with you? And the reason why we do that is because we're going to grow their support network. If they have somebody at home or somebody at school or somebody at work that is going to get in there and play the game with them, they're going to be learning the same information. It's going to be reinforcing that support structure that's in their life. So I love doing things like that. If you guys are not signed up for the game yet, it just started this week, so you're not behind at all. You can catch up, no problem. And I think making a quick little video, if you are deciding to do it, or a quick little message that you can get out to a lot of people at once is a great idea, because a lot of people are looking for something, but they don't want to put their they're just afraid to try. And for a lot of people, this being played as a game, it gives us as health coaches all that third-party credibility. Lets them, when the time's right, it lets them know our mentor Troy, and it's just a really great, fun way to be engaged in our own health also. So with that being said, that's a pretty quick wrap up. So I want to see if any of you have any questions.
And real quick, how many of you have your own room? Okay, a couple of you. And the other thing too is that, one thing to look at is who you bring in your room, and what, if you're wanting to bring that individual, because a lot of people just put it out to everybody and think, oh, well, I'll just take anybody that comes in. But in reality, you might not want that individual in there. So, you're always kind of thinking about one step ahead thinking, okay, who do I really want in my sphere of influence? So, you know, that's kind of another thing to kind of think about as you're going through the process. And one thing is with the challenge, it is really designed to kind of get people in there, you know, get them to mingle to where, you know, they're kind of getting their feet wet. Point in case, I have a gal right now, she did 3 of the challenges before she became a client. And now she's wanting to become a coach. But it took her some time that she kind of figured out, well, what are these meal replacements? What is this, you know, what is this all about? Because there's not a lot that's really talked about in the game. So, you know, it's important to, you know, as you're talking with the individuals that are in your room, that you're really kind of, you know, bringing things together and seeing where their goals are. Maybe making a phone call to that individual, or reaching out, you know, on, you know, friend them on Facebook. If you don't even know them because they're a friend of a friend that brought them in, then get to know those people, because there's a reason why they're getting in there, because they're looking to get healthy. So don't assume anything. When you're bringing in people, or basically if other people are inviting them in, you know, see what their goals are, see what they're wanting to obtain. And that's important, because you're doing this and putting, you know, if you have your own room, you're putting it on because of the fact that you want to share the message. And so this really helps share that message in my mind, like a you know, organic way.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
No, I think that that's a really good word for it too, organic, because it gives us plenty of practice in doing these little tips, and it just drips in a way that a lot of people don't even realize that, wow, that's what you guys do as coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a good word.
Good. You know, I just wanted to touch a little bit on the Healthy Games, and thanks for that, Elisa, to come on and just kind of go through that a little bit. The other thing I want to kind of touch on tonight is I kind of want to open it up a little bit, because, you know, one thing as coaches, we are into January right now, and, you know, a lot of us are thinking of, okay, well, this is what I'm doing in my business now, and it's not working. So, you know, let's talk about what, you know, things you can change in that aspect, because 2016, we want to really push to make this a year that, you know, all of you are on the line because you want to make a difference in your business. You're not here just to entertain, you know, just to be entertained. You're here because you're investing in your business, and you're wanting to be here to make a difference in somebody else's life, and hopefully carry that on through. So does anybody have any kind of questions, anything to throw? Because we're going to make this kind of short tonight, just because of the fact that I didn't have anything really set up tonight for you guys. I've been working on a lot of different things this week, and there's going to be some cool features that are coming for next week for everybody. So does anybody got anything tonight? Carla's raising her hand. I see it. She's going to unmute herself, maybe. You want me to unmute you, Carla? I can do that too.
Okay.
Awesome, you're there.
Hi. So on the challenge, I've been having a lot of trouble with the food part of it, and I came in a little bit late, so I don't know if you talked about that. The logging of the food.
It's changing as of Friday, which is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And all that. So there was.
They're fixing it? Oh.
Yeah, there was an email that was sent out. I think it was Monday or maybe Tuesday, and I actually talked to Aaron Benton about that, and that's something that is being changed, and he said by Friday they should have the fix. And they're hoping to have the meal replacements on there also, to where you're able, when you're logging in, you're able to log in on that part. So they are changing a few things. There was some complaints from others that saying, you know, hey, this change isn't working, and so they are making those changes, and they should be effect as of tomorrow.
Well, it just takes too long too, so
yeah.
Hopefully,
and you're not alone, Carla, because there's others that have drawn that concern. So you know, that's a good thing that they're kind of changing that part of it.
No, and I think that's great also, because I've heard the same complaint, and I have the same complaint within myself.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes bigger than the 10, 15 minutes that it should be. It now becomes a half an hour to 45 minutes because of you either have to add a new food item or you just wing it and go with whatever they have on there, and it's not accurate.
Yeah. No, that's being changed. So they're supposed to be in effect supposedly Friday. Don't hold me to that. That's what they say. So I'm hoping that that's gonna that'll be there to make that change to where it obviously is a lot easier, because I know there's been a lot of complaints with that.
Thank you.
Good. Anybody else have anything to say tonight? Because this is, again, this is kind of an open forum. I just want to kind of do, maybe somebody's got a question on anything you want, client, coach. Doesn't mean I have the answers, but it might mean that I can possibly take you to a in some way, some shape or form. Nobody, Chris or Joe or Rita or Bart, Becky. I'm calling everybody tonight.
I have a question for you. So I'm just a senior coach, so I have, I guess, about 6 or 7 clients.
Okay.
And I would say all but maybe one of them have fallen off plan over the holiday, and they're just not able to get back on. And you know, I'm trying to be supportive and everything, but I just don't know what else to say to them other than just, okay, start from now. Let's start from now. Start from now. You know, I feel like I'm a broken record, and I don't really feel like I'm doing anything, but I don't necessarily want to be in their face saying.
So this is the thing too, is you look at an individual basis. A lot of people, and they're not alone, a lot of individuals through the holidays, they, you know, okay, I'll have a little bit of this, I'll have a little bit of that. And it goes to, hey, I'm out of fat burn, I might as well just go. And that's what happens. So if we kind of look at the reason why they're starting and stopping, first of all, is because it's harder, because their body's now used to the old stuff. And so now getting them back started, maybe their why isn't there anymore. Maybe you're not reassuring with their why. Why did they want to get healthy in the first place? So really reevaluating, maybe going through, if you made the client profile and the different things, or you're using the wellness tracker, that's the best thing. We want to start focusing on why they really came in to get healthy and what was the really reason for that. Because it is going to be all about what they're wanting to create versus, hey, you got the meal replacements, why can't you just start? Well, it has to be more than that, because an individual comes in to get healthy. If they're using it at that diet mentality, it's an 85% failure rate. So if we look at, as we're pushing forward, as that why, as we're understanding more of why they're wanting to get healthy, we reinforce that and help them and guide them through that process. And a lot of times it's like you're saying, you know, dependent upon, you know, maybe they've been off 2 or 3 weeks because, you know, throughout the whole holidays, maybe they just took a sabbatical. But finding out what they're really wanting to do is that's the biggest part, because you are, Angie, you are a guide. Okay, you're there to guide them through that process. We're not there to tell anybody, hey, this is what you have to do. What are you wanting to do? What are you wanting to create? You know, what would that look like for you? You're going through all the scenarios of why you're reinforcing on why they wanted to get healthy. And, you know, us as coaches, we want to know where the tools are. That doesn't mean we have to know everything about each tool, right? So, okay. So maybe even sending them you know, I for some reason I like using the Becca Tinner 14-minute is really cool because it kind of goes through everything. Doesn't mean that you know, that's going to solve for everybody, but you know, there's some different ways to look at it. Have they even engaged in the habits of health? You know, that's something that obviously we have right there at their, at the fingertips. Are you showing them, kind of where that's at? Are you guiding them through that process? Are they engaging in that? What are they wanting? It always goes back to that why, because realistically, that's what's really driving them. If they're wanting to do it just because their significant other told them, hey, you need to lose some weight, and that's why they did it, then there's really not a big enough why. So it has to be bigger than just a few little things. It has to be you're building on what they're wanting to create.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Joe, you got anything to add tonight? Because you've been doing lots of different things. We've talked over the last couple of weeks, and anything to share tonight that you would think that.
I would say probably the biggest thing, and this is through a lot of coaching and stuff that we've been working on lately. Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you barely. You're like
barely. That's terrible. Here, let me change this.
You got to focus in on that.
Here, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I changed microphones. One of the biggest things that, for me at least, has been really important lately is understanding that the 2-degree shift in where you're at. We can do a lot of things. We're going through the motions, but really getting dialed in on what's a high leverage activity. And for me, the knowledge and awareness that I am incredibly resistant to structure is important to know. And so for me, at least, your success lies right behind the thing you're resisting the most. So for me, it's making phone calls off my contact list. I'm great at talking to people in the world. I'm great at talking to people with my coaches and following up with my clients. But that hundreds list that I've been staring at for almost 2 years, and I've maybe called a couple dozen people off of, I have resistance to that. And it's getting clear about why am I resisting that? So the biggest kind of takeaway for me from the last few weeks of really working through a lot of different coaching sessions, and this I think goes for everybody, is embrace the structure. It's there for a reason. It works for a reason. This is almost 15 years of refinement to put this pathway together. Trust that it works. Trust that the system works, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's the hardest thing for me because I'm entrepreneurially minded. I want to develop and come up with a better system personally. And right now, it's hard for me, but I've got to not and just trust the system and follow the path as it's laid out. It's just like the 5-in-1. Don't tweak it. Just do what your mentorship team is telling you to do. It works.
Yeah. And, that's the other thing too, Joe. Definitely, Angie, reach out to your mentor too. That's important because, just the kind of things that we went over tonight, that's just something that, might help you. There might be more to it than that for you, as in maybe the individuals, and maybe that's something to connect with your mentor to maybe do a 3-way call with that person, or 3-way Zoom would be good, because you're wanting to connect. I think that's the biggest drawback in a lot of coaches is that they do a couple connections with your mentor, as in their clients, potential clients, and then they say, I know what I'm doing, and the skill set hasn't been passed, so they're there thinking that, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, but 6 months or a year later they're in the same spot, and I'm like, wait a minute here, why is my business not moving forward? So the key thing, and you hear about this a lot, you hear about this on the leadership call, A-Team call talks about it a lot, we talk about it a lot. 3-way, I always prefer Zooms, because Zooms, I visually see it. Like everybody on here, I see them. Well, not everybody, but most of them. So a call is a call. You don't see the individual. You can't know the body language. It's really important because you really want to connect with that individual. And maybe, think about it this way. The people that are, just really not getting going on the program, maybe you haven't done a Zoom with them. Maybe you haven't really met them. Maybe it's just a phone call. And so you just kind of don't know of, you know, really where that's gonna, you know, that part of it is, you know, you're thinking about, okay, where do we really need to go with the understanding of, you know, maybe the call, and you don't have that clear sense of direction. So that's when you really want to have your mentorship there, and say, okay, maybe at the beginning of the Zoom call, you're kind of, a side note, you're kind of telling your mentor, okay, this is where we're kind of at with this individual, and so maybe they can have more clear understanding how they're able to help. And this has to do with a lot of you guys on the line. I mean, I'm sure you have clients that are struggling, and that they're not focused, or maybe they're on and off. I'll give you a prime example. I have a client she's been a client for a year, and she's might have lost 25 pounds in a year, okay? But she's gained and lost quite a few times. So I kind of asked her, I said, you know, what's your goal for 2016? What would you like to do? And she said, you know what, I'd rather be, I want to be consistent. And she goes, being on and off the program, it doesn't do me any good. And I said, okay, and so remember too, you're guiding them along. You're not telling them, man, you were bad. You did, you know, this is what I can't believe you did that. What does that do? That drives them farther away, right? So what you want to do is you want to be that person in good times and bad with the program. You want to be supportive, because they'll always go to you. But if you're not, if you badger them or basically tell them that they did wrong, then they're always going to want to not take your call or your text. So you got to kind of think of the things that, first of all, you're going to create that really cool relationship at the beginning, that foundation, that trust, because they're trusting you with your health, with their health, right? And as you're going through that process, you're guiding them in the way that is going to really benefit them long term. Why do you think you talk about, hopefully you're talking about the first 4 days on the program, about how important Habits of Health is, the class online, your book that you got. How far did you get? Did you get through the first 2 chapters? Did you watch the first week in our Habits of Health class? So if you're reinforcing those at the beginning and showing them where the tools are at, then hopefully that will give them a little stronger starting. So as they're going through that progression, you've connected with your mentor, with that brand new client at the beginning, and then that accountability part is your mentor along with yourself. That client has at least two people that are supporting and guiding that individual. That doesn't mean the mentor is always there, but it in their mind it does. So these are just things that you want to kind of think about in the sense of as you are guiding your clients, your brand new clients, because I can tell you, I know a lot of you are bringing on new clients this month. January is 53% of Americans are doing some type of diet, and we want to show them a lifestyle change. Diets don't work. So these are things that, we are, as coaches, wanting to guide them through that process. Do you have something, Joe? Uh-oh.
I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying there, that remember, if your goal is to grow a really big business and to build out a structure, you have to think a little bit ahead of duplicability. Like, can you duplicate what you're doing? And your clients, when they become coaches, are going to coach their clients the way you coach them. So leveraging the resources and tools and plugging them into the systems, and not being the person with the answers, but knowing the person who knows how to get the answers and directing them there, helps you be duplicable. It helps other people do what you've done, and it scales better. If you're always the person with the answers, you're going to become the bottleneck, and that will slow down your growth over time. So again, it's one of those learning edges for me. But even though I know the answer to the nutrition question that I was just asked, we should call nutrition support and find out where that 100-calorie snack fits in. Make a note of this number. Really use the tools, and that's what I think Troy's leaning into there too. Plug people into the Habits of Health class, because it's easy to direct them to it, and then follow up. Hey, what did you learn from the class this week? What was something that stuck out to you when you're doing your client support calls? That's really
And when Joe says he does that for every one of his clients. I'm one of his clients still, and I ask him questions almost every day and nonstop. He's telling me, "Have you talked to nutrition support?" I'm like, "I know what you're doing."
Don't feel felt down.
So it's good.
And Chris and Joe, there's some good points to be made about that, because how many times do you think that as you're going through the week and people are asking you questions, how many times do you forget and try to answer the question? What you know what you need to do, right? But in reality, maybe that habit's been created for you, right? And you're just instantaneous. I have the answer for you. Instead of directing them and let them use the tools, because remember, what you do in your business, and as you want to grow a sustainable business and you want to really help other people in a sense of, your clients become coaches, if they don't see it's duplicatable and you've done a different system, then they're going to come in and do the same system you taught. So always remember that. We always want to use a system that's already in place. And if you've done that, in a sense, if you've already, maybe you've talked to, when you talk to individuals, you've told them a lot of the answers, right? Just because, well, I don't know if they would call it nutrition support, so I'm going to tell them anyway. But in reality, you know that it's better for them to do the connection. Even if you're doing a 3-way call with nutrition support, at least they're getting that and they know where that answer's at. Instead of relying on you.
Ultimately, it turns out to be better for them too, because they're taking ownership of it. If you're just spoon feeding them all of the answers, they're not having to go out and find it. When they start becoming integrated clients, that means that they're taking ownership of their own health and they're finding their own answers. That's empowering for them. They will do better long-term on program if they're finding their own answers and using them.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's very, and a lot of us do want to give our clients the answers and maybe if it's just a basic thing, like, we were just having the chat on there, they're 100 calories, that was part of the program. And I just kind of thought, I'll just put it in, but, in reality, I knew that, called nutrition support, but, in a sense that with that chat, it was kind of a trick question. I wanted to kind of see where response and where we would get from the other coaches to say, well, wait, you should call it nutrition support. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. So I'm helping people kind of, second guess themselves. So, we could be stronger of what we're doing, because the message here is that if it's not duplicatable, we don't want to use it. If you have all these internal stuff, say you went through the Habits of Health 10 times, you know everything in the Habits of Health, and you're displaying that with your clients, they're going to turn to you every single time. Guess what's going to happen? You might spend 2 hours a week with that client, when in reality, you should spend 15 minutes at the max. So knowing too much and sharing too much it takes a lot of your time. So think about the time you want to spend in going through the week and, with your clients, because you want that duplicatable factor really there. You got anything to add, Rick? I don't know how much you've listened, Mr. Green. You always have some good words of advice.
I was listening, yeah. Okay. Well, the fact that and Joe's right. I'll piggyback on what he said. I'm just kind of picking up on some of this, but when you're taking your client to that point and they're starting asking questions, you always want to be the answer man because they've come to you. But if you direct them to the right spot, then they're going to learn that that's the go-to place. If I have a question, Joe will probably just send me over there anyway. I probably ought to call them. So yeah, teach your clients. It's real important as it is. We're always talking about coaching our clients into weight loss, coach them into fat burn. And part of that is coaching them to that point where they see that they can get those tools, those resources. That's important. Joe's right about if you want to grow the equitable business. How many times do you want your clients calling you with every little thing? How much time does it take? It adds up, though.
It doesn't get so much annoying, but it's just like you're the go-to person all the time. So it's kind of like they rely on you for everything.
Yeah.
Reality, you want to mentor, you want to guide them, you want to be supportive, right? But you don't want to give them everything to where they you're basically having to know everything, and you know that that's not duplicatable. So
well, you know, here's the thing. You know what? I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. So let's get an answer for you. Let's call it nutrition support. This is a great resource tool. They've helped me in the past. I think they can help you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
The other thing that'll happen is if you've always answered all of those questions for your clients, then when your clients become coaches and their clients ask them the same questions, your coaches aren't calling nutrition support, they're calling you. And you have to say, well, that's a call for nutrition support. So it's again, the scale piece of it if you are growing a big equity business.
Yeah.
Nutrition support, the doctor's call, the Habits of Health support call, Habits of Health connections, Zoom on Tuesday nights. These are the resources to leverage.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Joe, is that, you know, what's interesting about this topic is that at the beginning of me, 5 years ago when I became a coach, I thought I needed to learn everything. I came in and I'll be danged if I was going to tell, whoever, Joe or Chris or whoever, and of course I didn't know them at the time, but I'm just making up names, that I'm going to, go ahead, client support or, wherever. I didn't use the tools because I thought, you don't need to use the tools. But what I found is that when I wasn't using the tools, everybody was pointing to me and calling me and saying, well, Troy, you said such and such about this. So, I got my client, Betty Sue, that wants to know about this. Can we do a 3-way call and you can tell them about it? And I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing? So, it's you want to learn by your mistakes, but I don't want any individual or any coach, any new coach or even existing coach that make the mistakes I made with that, because it takes more to where it takes time out of your day, and you want to be more productive. 70% of your time you are spending with finding new individuals, new potentials, and 30% of the time you're spending with your coaches and your clients. So, that's really where your, the kind of sweet spot is. So that's kind of all I got tonight, guys. It was kind of a cool topic we talked about. I always like talking about things that will help everybody's business grow. I think it's important. One last thing too. Is everybody getting people invited to the transformation call on Saturday? Because who's going to be on? The gal from People Magazine is going to be on. The husband and wife, they'll be on that. So I think there's going to be 4 stories, 3 or 4. I think 4 stories, and they're 5 minutes long. So again, that's powerful. That's another good way. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last 2 transformation calls that we've had on how much buzz and information or interest I got out of that from either my clients or my potential clients that wanted to know a little bit more about either the coaching or basically maybe becoming a client. So that's another good way to share that. And I know we have a lot of different tools that we can utilize. You just got to figure out what's going to work for you, because I can't tell you, hey, you've got to do this, you got to do that. There is a lot of different things that we use, but I think the transformation calls, I think the last time we did it was 6 weeks ago. So we're going to try to do it every 6 to 8 weeks apart to where we have enough time, and that way, that would be good. So, I think all of this is good. I mean, there's no such thing as too much information. It's just what you want to absorb. I think that's a great thing, and I see the chat there. You guys are chatting back and forth, but I think it's good that the things that everybody's doing in Coach to Health is a great thing. There's a couple things that we're going to come here by next week that will remind you, which will be good. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through next week. There's some other things in line that's going to help us bring structure, because I don't know how many times I get throughout the week, hey, what's that Zoom ID number again? What time was that at? So there's going to be some other things that's going to be automatically that's going to go out every week that I don't have to tell you guys that, and which will be good, because then we can simplify things to where people are able to come on and get the message that's there, and get more things done. So anybody else have anything else to say? I'm basically done for the night. I don't want to take any more time for anybody else. You guys got busy lives and lots of people to help, I'm sure. And you guys everybody have a great night tonight. We'll see you next. We'll hopefully see you on the transformation call, or listen to you, or you hear it. Oh, Brian. See, let's see, 6:43.
Yeah, I was on the call. Leave me alone.
I almost ended. Didn't I, guys? I was like that close. But now you might have another 15 minutes. Sorry, guys. I apologize on that.
You may not. I may not have anything to say.
We were just talking about, real quick, about what? It's a tablecloth. What are you guys doing? You guys are doing different chats on me here. You guys are throwing stuff. I can't read while I'm trying to pay attention. You guys are mean to me. Some of you guys are really they're beating up on me, bro. Anyway, so
target.
Yeah, I'm an easy target. But we were talking about duplicatable factor and the understanding. I don't know how it came up, but we were kind of talking about how you don't want to internalize everything, how you don't want to just do everything on your own, and bring your mentorship in. And I know we talk about this a lot, and that's something.
I have a good one on that. I just got done talking to somebody this morning about that, who's not really growing that much in their business, and they were wondering why I haven't called them. They're upset that I haven't talked to them, and I'm like, look, I'm there. It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way street, right? You got to come to me too. But the interesting thing about it is this person's not using the well, a lot of things, but not using the mentorship, not using three-way Zooms and all that. And so we discussed it for a while, and I think she's going to start using the three-way Zooms. She has like 16 people interested in the business. I'm like, where are they? We can never be a prophet in our own home, and I keep on saying this over and over again, but stop acting like it's your thing. Have everybody help you that's in your mentorship, because that's how we help each other, and we can't do this on our own. I guarantee you I would not be able to do anything that I've done as great as it is without having the help of other people all the time. We utilize we look for, and I always say this, look for the good in everyone. Discard the bad. Everybody has bad things about them, and everybody has good things about them. And use the good things to be a benefit to you, not only in your business, but personally as well. So I'll give you an example of using third-party credibility. I went down to Mountain Home today, and I didn't have an appointment with a guy. I was just going to show up because I had a coach that wanted me to help him out a little bit. So I showed up somebody's place of business, which happened to be a gym with like 900 members. And so I started painting the picture of what's possible for this guy, and he was like, wow, so he might do something with it. But then I went ahead and talked to another guy, I had an executive director, and she had somebody that wanted to learn about the business. Well, not maybe learn about the business, but just wanted to introduce this guy to me. Okay. And this guy has a great story already, but he's lost 20 pounds his first week, but he's got about 140 pounds to lose. And I started painting the picture of what it would be like. I said, well, what it'd be like when he's down to his weight, And then I started painting a picture to him what it'd be like to be a coach, and what it'd be like to be earning the kind of money that he wants to earn, and to have the freedom. And the guys, it was a great opportunity. The guy's very excited about what we have to offer. And he really didn't know about the whole offering before. In fact, he had gotten on the program like years ago. And it was somebody that was a coach, but never did anything with it. And he goes, I never knew about the habits of health. I never knew about the business opportunity. I never knew about this. I can't believe it. I didn't know about all this stuff. And he goes, and I lost some weight. He says he lost some weight his first month on it, but then he stopped. He didn't have the support. He wasn't involved in the group. And when he heard about the opportunity, he goes, man, I can't believe I didn't hear about this before. And there's something to be said there. So if you're not offering to everybody what it is we actually do with Take Shape for Life, how we transform lives in all areas, like we're going to be talking about on the call this Saturday. It's going to be an awesome call. I am so pumped for this call.
I was talking about it earlier. Well, actually, right before you kind of came in, I was talking about.
Did you tell him who's going to be on?
Yeah, I told him about the husband and wife of from the People magazine.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the lady. The lady. I don't know about her.
Oh, okay. I thought it was both of them.
No, it's just the lady that lost 120 pounds, 130 pounds, half her size, whatever. And she's going to be on there. I didn't know what she was in the business, but I found out that she's an integrated national. So she does very well with the financial part of it as well. And she likes to pursue her passions, her dreams and stuff. Because of it, she can do that. There's a lady on there that's going to be she's a lady that has 3 kids, no longer married. So 3 kids at home. She never worked when she was married to her husband. She never worked. She always stayed at home with the kids and worked, with the kids. And she had to do something for herself. She had to go out and do something, right? Get a job, whatever. And she also became an integrated national within about a year. And she doesn't even have a weight loss story. She didn't lose any weight in the program. And then we have.
Don't give it away too much, Brian, because then they won't want to listen.
Look, you guys on the call here, you guys all want to be on there anyway. And then this is just going to, I think, it's just going to whet your appetite, wanting to be on there to hear the story, but also to get other people on there. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because these are the stories. So if you know somebody in that situation, if you know different people in different situations, you're going to want to get them on these calls. I mean, everybody's going to be inspired, right? But if you know somebody that never had that doesn't have a weight loss story and wants to do the business, get them on the call. Someone that's single, has kids, that. Then we have Dom and Rita Taranelli, integrated global directors. They have a great story. He used to be a contractor, and she used to do daycare. And he worked a lot with doctors. We also have one of his doctors he worked with, which is Ken Kochman. I don't know if you know Ken Kochman, Dr. Ken Kochman. He always does a good job, and he's a great speaker. He's going to be on there, and he's got the doctor angle there, right? And then we have, that's it. That's 4 stories, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 stories. That's it. Yeah. It's 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, Rita.
No, it's 8:30.
It's 8 o'clock.
8:30.
Since when?
I don't know. Look at the flyer.
Is it 8:30? Okay, I'm sorry. Well, you have your A-team call at 8 o'clock.
No, I'm not doing the A-team call.
I know that, but normally it's at 8 o'clock.
It does say it's 8:30.
That's why I thought it was taking place. So see, I just learned more that I didn't know.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. Oh, see, Chris is the tech guy's always there. Either Chris or Joe. What's it say?
Somebody. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Stop.
Okay.
He just wants to keep going with it, don't you, Chris?
8:30 to 9 Pacific Time. And somebody switched this on me, so I'm gonna switch it back. I just edited it. It's 9:30 to 10 my time, so Pacific time.
Brian, it's 8:30 Pacific time. We can all figure out the time zones of where we're.
9:30 my time. Well, I know, but it says it on 9:30 on mine. Okay.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay. I'm just saying. It says specific.
We already have 231 going, 127 interested.
Well, and that's the thing too. How many of you have invited people?
I've already invited 500. Anybody invite 500 yet?
How many of you have you invited everybody?
I invited like 600, and then it was canceled, and then I had to re-invite them the next day.
Yeah.
So,
You can blame Dr. A for that one.
don't blame me.
So anyway, but that's okay. We've got it going. So okay.
All right.
That's all we kind of had. We were almost done, and I was going to let him.
We had their
I have a
top.
question though. So
Okay,
Brian, do you do an A-team call every other week and transformation every other week? Is that what we're doing?
No, it's just
Probably every 6 weeks, right, Bri?
yeah. We won't have transformation calls, but probably.
Probably every 6 weeks.
Oh, I'm so confused. I got it. I got this. Okay.
Oh well,
Hey, there's always going to be something on Saturday. Okay.
You're going to love
I
it.
know.
Because next week, you guys are going to love it. Because next week, when we have any kind of things going on, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a text, and it's going to remind you.
Oh, I like
Brian,
that.
his
We're getting techie because we got to get organized so so more people come to the party, right?
all right. Sounds good. Any other questions or anything?
They're all done.
You done?
They're all ready to go to bed.
Hey, just one more thing.
What?
So there's like 10 days left of the month, so there's plenty of time to get whatever done you want to get done. That's all.
Yep. Next week we'll talk more about that maybe.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.